Rachel, you should learn from your brother. My mother stood at the end of the dining table, porcelain plate still in her hand, her voice already cold. He just got his acceptance letter from Harvard. And you? Sitting in the garage taking computers apart. You're a girl. Without a good degree, how will you ever support yourself? The dining room light was bright, painfully bright. Michael sat across from me, shirt crisp, his smile carrying that familiar tone, the arrogance of achievement. Cutting his steak, he said lightly, "Need help with your college essay?" Not that you could really pull it off the way I did. I set down my fork. Said nothing. Under the table, my hand clenched so tight my nails dug into my palm. I was 21, fresh out of community college. And in that moment, the way they looked at me, it was like I was a kid who'd failed a test. In the Cheen family, education was religion. My father was a Stanford professor, my mother a research consultant. Our living room walls were lined with certificates, medals, and photos of Michael's childhood awards. Mine was shoved in a corner, the frame half cracked. After dinner, my father called me into his study. Sitting behind his desk, he pushed up his glasses. "Rachel, I'm not against you exploring your interests," he said. "But you can't treat tinkering with computers like a career. It's a distraction. Dad, I want to build something myself. In cybersecurity, I have ideas." He sighed. Ideas? Without a degree, no one takes you seriously. You won't even get into the room. A cold breeze blew through the window, rustling the papers on his desk. Looking at those thick stacks of research, I suddenly felt trapped, like that was another kind of prison. The next morning, I moved out. I had one old computer, a folding bed, and a used Toyota. The garage became my office. That winter was brutal, my fingers shook from the cold whenever I typed. Using recycled parts, I built my first server, earning money fixing computers for small local shops. No one believed in me, but in the lines of code, I could see the shape of a future. The first few years were just survival. Up at 8, coding till 2 in the morning. The coffee cup was always cold. The whiteboard filled with algorithms. Sometimes dust would settle on the motherboard, and I'd clean it gently with a toothbrush. My first product was called Safe Shield, a firewall system for small businesses. I designed the interface, wrote every line of code, ran every test. No budget for a team, even the website, I built myself. The first week, 3 clients. Third week, 20. By year's end, 200. I still remember the first thank you call. A small shop owner said, "Your system saved us. The hackers couldn't get through." I sat outside the garage, smiling for a long time. That was the first time I thought, maybe I could really make it. A few years later, the team grew to 20. We rented an office. Registered in the Bay Area as Chintech Solutions. Revenue stabilized. The media started calling us the cybersecurity shield for small business. But my family still thought I was playing around. That Thanksgiving, at the family dinner, Michael said, "Nice little company you've got. But without an MBA, it won't go far." He raised his glass, smiling. Mom added, "He's right, Rachel. You're still young. Go back to school. Your brother knows a few Harvard professors who could help." I just nodded. And that's when I realized, some people will never see success unless it comes with a diploma. The next 10 years, I turned every doubt into numbers. Government contracts. Fortune 500 clients. I stopped sleeping in garages, stopped eating instant noodles. But whenever I came home, my mother still asked, "When will you start your real career?" I smiled. "Mom, I already have." She shook her head, disappointment disguised as kindness. The breaking point came at Michael's promotion banquet. Ritz-Carlton, San Francisco. He was named CEO of a consulting firm's tech division. Mom called ahead, "Dress properly this time." Don't wear those power suits. Tonight's about your brother. The ballroom glowed with warm lights and soft strings. I wore a simple black dress. Mom frowned. Too plain. I smiled. Said nothing. When everyone was seated, Michael took the stage, champagne in hand. Thank you all for coming. Tonight, besides celebrating my promotion, I'm announcing something bigger. He paused, eyes landing on me. Our company will be expanding into small business cybersecurity. And our first acquisition target, he smiled, is Chintech Solutions. Gasps filled the room. He continued smoothly. That's my sister's company. She's done well, but she's an amateur. We'll help her scale it properly, with a qualified team. Under the lights, his smile was effortless. Dad nodded in approval. Mom was already telling someone, isn't it wonderful? Sibling collaboration. I raised my glass, touched it to my lips. Didn't drink. 15 years of silence ended there. I walked up to him, smiling. Thank you for the offer. You'll have my answer at 9 tomorrow morning. Then I left. That night, I didn't sleep. Sent dozens of emails. Made a few calls. By 4 a.m., the sky was still dark. The coffee, cold. But the plan, ready. Next morning, 9 a.m. sharp. Conference room. Michael arrived with my father and 2 lawyers. He smiled confidently. Rachel, you'll find our acquisition terms generous. After all. Because I don't have a degree? I cut in. He froze for a second, still smiling. I turned on the projector. Before we sign anything, you should see this. First slide, company valuation report. $100 million. Independent audits. Released last month. His smile faltered. Impossible. Our analysis. Used outdated data, I interrupted. The company you thought you could buy doesn't exist anymore. Next slide, client list. My father leaned closer. His face slowly changed. At the top, Michael's company. That's right, I said calmly. Your firm's entire network security runs on our software. You signed the contract 3 years ago. The lawyers flipped through their folders, pale. Michael's voice dropped. What do you want? It's not about what I want. I leaned back, voice cold as glass. It's about who you underestimated. Final slide, a document with an official seal. Last night, we completed the acquisition of your company's tech division. The board approved it unanimously. Your position no longer exists. The room went silent. Color drained from his face. This can't be. Call them. He did. Hands shaking. A few minutes later, he lowered the phone. They confirmed it. I stood, straightened my sleeve. You have 2 options. Resign, and I'll let PR write you a graceful exit. Or I'll send the proof of your algorithm theft to the press. Your choice. He said nothing. His pen slipped from his fingers, clattering against the table. For the first time in 15 years, he looked afraid. That evening, I returned to my office. Sunlight spilled across the desk. An email popped up. Harvard Business School, guest lecture invitation, the non-traditional path to success. I smiled. Typed back, I'll be there. Months later, Chintech went public. Our valuation tripled. Michael left consulting, now a real estate agent. My parents went quiet, stopped talking about degrees. We still meet on holidays, exchange polite words. But that condescending look, it's gone. Sometimes late at night, I think, maybe we could have been on the same side. But life gave me a narrower path, one that taught me how to win quietly. Because some kinds of respect aren't given by family. You earn them, line by line, on your own.